Okay, everyone. Places. Places.
The Dark Cut.
Hello, loyal viewers of The Cut Up and listeners of The Dark Hours. This is The Dark Cut. This is The Cutter.
And this is Gray.
And today we're taking a look at Paranormal Activity 3.
Part 3 of a planned trilogy from the beginning, I'm sure.
Part 3.
Yes, this was planned. I'm all from the very start.
From the very start. Yes.
So, all right. So we still doing our interlude, right?
Oh yeah.
Good. So I got some stuff to talk about here. Okay.
What do you got?
Last night we went to go see. Well, I showed the Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters: The Killer Cam. It was. I mean, needless to say, it was a success. And that fucking movie still stands up today.
What was her favorite part? Was that the first time she's seen it?
It is.
Oh my god, to watch that movie on fresh eyes.
Oh my gosh. And you know, I realized like how many actually pretty creepy parts that movie has. Like where Sigourney Weaver first gets pulled in, you know.
It's a darker movie.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And one of those things is like grabbing her breast. Like
the
guy's like, oh, what, there it is.
I always made a joke about that. Like the one guy was down on the couch like, I'm going to cop a feel.
He's like, I'm going to do it. And she won't be able to say anything about it. She's like, you're a game show host, not a doctor. I mean, that movie's great.
It's good.
It's awesome.
You're more like a game show host.
Yeah.
You actually eat this stuff?
He goes,
look at all the junk food.
I love it.
So what was her favorite part? Did she mention? Oh yeah, the dogs bounding through the hotel.
She's a dog. Yeah, I know. Did you know?
I love that guy when it comes out. Yeah. He's like, a bear in the apartment. And then it comes jumping.
A bear in the apartment?
So great.
Okay, so
baby,
did
I
you
got
know
a milk bone.
That John Candy was originally supposed to be Rick Moranis?
Yeah.
I cannot even...
And also, John Belushi was supposed to be...
Venkman.
Yes, correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Because Bill Murray didn't want to do it.
Was he alive still at that time?
Yeah, he was.
Can you imagine? Like, Murray fell off the map for several years after that movie. That's crazy.
It is.
So, okay, so we saw that, and then tomorrow I'm going to be seeing The Evil Dead, the musical. I have been waiting for this. I'm going to try to get in the front seat, or in the front row.
You going to do the Necronomicon?
Yeah. The Necronomicon. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be pretty cool.
Cool.
So, yeah, how it's been going with you?
Well, oh man, I've been playing Rage, the new id Software game.
Now,
yeah.
Okay, so what's the story here?
There isn't much to it. It's an id Software game.
Yeah, it's about people.
It's a post-apocalyptic game where you play as this guy who's been locked away for hundreds of years, maybe 100 years, and you awaken, and then everyone tells you, "Hey, there's all this crap going on, so you're going to help us out." And I've actually already finished it. And
how many days was that?
It came out at the beginning of October.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not a very long game.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. I know it's an id Software game, and I don't expect much of a story from them. But for a game that's so single player driven, mind you, there's no like multiplayer like deathmatch or anything. Like
really?
Yeah.
In a first person game these days?
Well, in an id Software game, like they're the originators of the deathmatch.
Yeah.
With Doom and Wolfenstein, well, I don't know if Wolfenstein did, but. Yeah, the game is great. The shooting is great, but the story, man, it lacks so much. So much. Like, you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing until, well, ever, really.
Yeah. Now, I've heard about Fallout 3. That's the one that's kind of similar to this.
Yeah,
right?
that one's an RPG. This one's an FPS, so...
That was an RPG?
Yeah, Fallout 3 was, yeah.
All right. Hey.
He's got a death curse.
Oh, Crazy Ralph, let us know. Let's talk about Paranormal Activity 3.
All right, so before we get into that, though, we're going to do a retrospective.
Yeah, let's talk about the first two movies a little bit.
All right, so I didn't see the first one in theaters. I didn't see it for a while.
That one I did.
You did?
Yes.
So what did you think about it going in?
Going in, I didn't know what to expect. You know, it was all the marketing hype about, scariest movie ever. Kind of like, the Blair Witch BS that they did. So when I went in there, I was expecting it to be like, all jump scares, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I kind of felt very so-so about it. I was like, I don't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Okay. So did the marketing affect you at all where it was like, this won't get released? You remember that was a big deal?
No, I thought that was all bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
I think it was total bullshit.
Yep.
And it absolutely fucking worked.
Oh, it was. It was bullshit. I mean, there's no way around it.
And so the movie was new and fresh. Is that right?
I guess.
I mean,
It was new.
yeah. I mean, it really. I guess it was the first movie in a while that was that slow and deliberate. I mean, I
Sure.
would imagine they would think that wouldn't fly with audiences. And
I think for many people, it was the first effective found footage type movie.
yeah.
Since the Blair Witch, probably.
I mean, I really liked the Blair Witch. I think that still stands up today for me. That's a really polarizing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you like the way it played out and everything? I mean, it really didn't have a whole lot of effectiveness until the very end of the movie.
Right. There's a lot of build up, and I thought the special effects in the movie were really good, considering it was supposed to look found footage, and then so I'm assuming they added the effects and then added the grain effect to it. But yeah, I thought the effects were really cool. You know, the chicken feet thing that everybody always talks about.
Yeah.
I thought that looked amazing. Like when it was in the flour and stuff, it was just forming But
so was this a really independent film that was bought, or was that bullshit too?
that I don't know.
I don't
I
know
would
either.
I would believe that someone created the film and then sold it for an immense amount of money.
That's what I would think.
But I call total bullshit on the whole marketing campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to go huge regardless.
Yeah. Do you think the actor and the actress Micah and Featherstone, were they good?
Yeah, I mean, they were good for what they were. They seemed pretty. From what I remember, I haven't seen it in a couple of years, so
Yeah.
from what I remember, I mean, they acted like pretty normal people.
Yeah, I watched it recently. It was good. I liked it a lot. Now, what did you think about Paranormal Activity 2?
Now, 2 further follows the story of what was her name in the first movie? The girlfriend, Katie.
Katie, yes.
So it follows Katie, and this is a prequel, correct? Like it's supposed to take place before the first one.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So after Katie kind of
48
goes,
hours or something.
yeah, and so Katie goes kind of crazy in the first movie. Then the second movie, we kind of find out what happened before that in her sister's house.
Yeah.
So her sister and her family have this amazing house. Their house was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Amazing house, and also
Nice pool.
gave us a reason to carry on the format.
Sure.
So in the first one, we have Micah, who is obsessed with cameras. He just got a new camera, and therefore he uses it to explain things and to explain away her issue, right?
Sure.
And in the second one, the conceit is that it's a security system.
Issue, right.
So that works.
Yeah. It worked okay. I was like, yeah, whatever contrivance you got to come up with.
Sure,
That's,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just fodder. I mean,
Did it work?
worked.
Did the pace work in this one? Or
I don't think the pace really worked for me in either of the first 2 movies.
really, even the first one?
Even the first one.
See, I like
Because it was
the
all
first
just a
one.
big... You know, actually, yeah, I'll take that back. Because there were a lot of really good parts in the first
There
one.
were.
Now that I remember it, with the ceiling...
And it was fresh.
And the feet in the
Yeah.
attic part. I forgot about all that. But the second one, yeah, the pacing, I just watched that last night for the first time. And yeah, it was really off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, everything, I keep using that word, but it was really refreshing.
Sure.
I mean, like, you talk about movies nowadays, and there's a pace nowadays, and this has never been more apparent than the movie we just saw recently, which was The Thing. It's
Sure.
a totally different movie. It's a totally different feel. And it was good in the first one. The second one, I think it undid the movie.
Really slow, and then it just picked up, like, kind of punched you in the face. Which
Yeah.
I guess works for some people, but not for me. Like I like the scenes that they added at the end. I didn't have a problem with them, and it's going to scare normal people. I know that's what it's aimed for, but yeah, it took too long for things to happen. And
it's not just that; it's like things that led nowhere,
Right.
just for the sake of creating tension. For example, the infamous pole cleaning device.
right.
I just don't even see. I mean, all it was.
Well,
there
it was a
for-
red herring, right? I mean, yeah.
It's a really. It's not just a red herring. It's like what, 10% of the movie, 20% of the movie.
They're just filling up time.
I mean,
that's all they're doing.
several
Yeah.
scenes with that damn thing.
Sure.
And which is, it's fine to a point, to the point where until I get really annoyed with it, I'm like, okay, what the hell is this for?
Right. But the one good thing about 2 that they didn't really waste time on, which I thought they were, was them trying to explain a little bit of backstory between the sisters.
Oh,
Now,
dude.
watching the movie last night, I was like,
Yeah.
who the hell cares?
Yes.
Because they're talking about how the on their side of the family, they haven't had a boy born in like 70 years or something like that. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, so you thought that was silly.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was so, I was like, this is stupid.
Right. And she's on the
and
internet researching, like, who cares?
and it felt so forced.
Right.
I mean, it felt like Like, just literally not. I remember thinking, why is she Googling, did she Google demonology or something?
Yeah, something.
It was just like, let's just plot point, you know.
Here you go, right here.
You know, it'd be great if the little guys, you know, at the movie theater, we're gonna go out to the movies, or we're gonna get a plot point.
Yep, here it is.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, they marched in and said, here you go, story element.
Yeah, I know.
But this leads us to the third movie.
Now, before we get there, though.
What's that?
So, the effects from the first one to the second one took a leap. Did the effects work for you in the second one?
Yeah, when they were applied.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought they were freaking awful. Like, there's the scene with the baby, right?
Right.
Where there's a baby, there's a new element. I will say they tried to, the sequel is different. I think it all falls on the director. I just think it's an awful paced movie.
No, I agree.
And the effects are awful. Awful.
There's only one part that I really had a problem with, and I don't want to talk about it because it might be a spoiler. It had to do with the wife and the way she looked toward the end. I thought that looked terrible, but her being dragged.
Oh, it was awful.
No, I thought that looked great.
It was horrible. It's totally CGI. The scene with the baby getting lifted, totally CGI.
I thought it looked okay.
I thought there were some good jump scenes. Like there's one that's in this.
Well,
one.
regardless, I got to cut you off because we got to talk about the third movie.
Oh, okay, yes, we are probably getting to the point.
We're running out of time.
Okay, so
the story leads into the third movie where we find out that for some reason there hasn't been a boy born into the family in quite a while. And this leads us to when Katie and Christy, is that her name?
Yeah.
I believe it's Christy.
Yeah.
Katie and Christy are little girls. So we're following them as little girls and finding out why the hell there's some kind of demon haunting them. So I guess really that's the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah. So
we're following their mom and their stepdad or step-boyfriend, whatever the hell he was, Dennis.
Oh, they did mention that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is obsessed with cameras as well.
Now, this is where it really gets to be, you're either going to buy it or you're not.
Yeah,
and
this is really contriving here.
I mean, it really is like stretching it.
He makes wedding videos, though.
Like, for example, there's scenes where he's editing and looking at the footage and he's being filmed. It's like, who's filming this? Is he like, okay, I'm going to film myself looking at my filming?
I know.
It's like, you're either going to you're going to go with it, you're going to be like, this is bullshit and this show sucks.
And I think all of it has to do with the amount of people you have in the theater with you. If you're watching this alone, you're going to be like, this is dumb.
You are absolutely correct.
But if you have like 100 other people in the theater like we did, it was a lot of fun because it's like, who cares?
So let's talk about Paranormal Activity as a series. I mean...
Should we talk about 3 first?
Well, I want to talk about the phenomenon because it's interesting. Like, there's Friday the 13th, right?
Sure.
There's Saw.
Yes.
And I'm talking about ones that are in the theaters pretty much every time, right?
Okay.
Not like Hellraiser. Like, is Paranormal... Is it good? Is it?
Do you think it's of that caliber, you mean?
I think it's getting to be. Everyone's made a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to make enough to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's
year.
like we were joking around earlier. It's gone from if it's Halloween, it must be Saw to it must be Paranormal Activity.
And as much as I want to hate it, because I do, like when I roll my eyes when I see a new Paranormal Activity.
Here. Yeah.
It's effective every year.
And to be honest, it's not any worse than another Saw sequel, but I went to go see almost all of those.
And they're fun to see with other people.
With a lot of people, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite the caliber yet. Maybe I got to rewatch them again. Because that's the thing for me is like I could rewatch the first couple Saw movies, but I don't really want to go back and watch the Paranormal Activity movies.
I absolutely agree with you. And that's where I'm like, half of me is like, this isn't a good series. But if you watch it once every year, I don't know how well they'll age. But yeah, in the theater,
I guess we'll see.
Every Halloween, these are damn good movies.
Sure, they're fun little distractions.
Okay, so what did you think about the pace and stuff in this one?
So I'm just gonna flat out say it. And I think the third movie is the best out of the 3.
It's absolutely the best. I mean,
hands down,
without a doubt.
There's more payoff. Mm-hmm. The effects look great.
It's like. That's why I think it's all the director. Now, I'd be very surprised. I didn't look to see if 2 was directed by the same guy.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was the same guy, too.
Because they look really different.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks just better. The pacing was better. There wasn't as much filler. I mean, in fact, when you and I walked out of the theater...
There wasn't much filler at all.
Yeah.
We even wondered, like, was that long? Like,
yeah.
And you looked at your watch, and it had been about an hour and a half, so...
I mean, once it gets rolling, there are the scenes, which... This is why I'm wondering. Yeah, I got to wonder how well this series is going to age or how it's going to carry, because there's those scenes, where the camera pans.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, what's going to happen?
I think there's always going to be an audience for it, regardless of what we think, though.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my only complaint on Paranormal Activity 3, I mean, like I said, I love the pacing, the special effects. I love the fact that they built a story, which we'll get to in a second. But I actually hate the way they cut some of the parts, because it seemed like they're cutting off a lot of what people are saying, where the guy would be like, yeah, well, that's why, and then I go to the next scene.
Well, and I mean...
And that really bothered me.
It's you know, I call it the Saw effect. Even though Saw was directed by at least 3 different directors,
right?
They all look the same. They all have that manic, crazy cutting. Like, this has the exact same thing. People get cut off in mid-sentence.
I don't like it.
And there's jumps in time while the film... It's like... Is that...
Well, there was a part, for example, where the wife is sitting on the bed, and then they smash cut to a part where she's jumping on the bed to get off the bed, and you can see the time move, and it's just because there's a loud noise there to scare you, like it's a cheap jump scare.
And the whole audience like jumps, and I was just like, why?
I'm like, that's a cheap scare.
And another paranormal thing that I think we're gonna get every movie is the blow scare. Like, I don't even know why.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Pal, quit while you're ahead.
Oh, the Crypt Keeper's letting us know. We're getting close. 2-minute warning. Go.
So, yeah, I really loved where this one went.
Me too.
I liked the pacing. I loved the girls. Were great.
Yeah, the little girls were amazing in this.
They were great. I liked the ominous feeling throughout the movie. I think it is wearing thin to me.
Yeah.
Like the contrivance of having to film it and the characters having to, again, every time go, there's something weird, let's film it.
Sure.
And the night scenes, I mean, it's the 3rd movie, and they really are already recycling.
Yeah, they're already recycling. But there are some great scenes. One scene you'll see where the wife walks into the kitchen and everything's missing, and there's a great scare there. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I'd have to see it again, because I didn't realize what was going on.
We'll talk about it when we have our... We are going to have a spoiler section here afterwards. So, but yeah, the other thing I want to talk about before we end here is how cool the introduction of the story is now. The first 2 movies didn't seem to have any kind of a story, and now we're actually explaining why the 2 girls, Katie and Christy, are haunted. And I love that they get into that, because now I'm actually feeling like I kind of want to see the 4th movie to see where this is going to go.
No, not me.
Not you?
I think that they did a great job of
well, if it ends there,
together.
I'm fine with that too. But if they come out with a 4th, I won't complain.
In an ideal world, they would move on from this. It would be a trilogy, and it'd be a great story that began with 1 and ended with 3. And I think that's where it needs to end.
And it's crazy because it all goes backwards.
And it does.
Yeah.
And it fits very well.
Each is a prequel.
I don't need any more. I think, and we'll talk about it, but the way this ended was perfect.
I agree. I don't really need any more, but like I said, if they come out with a 4th next year, I won't complain like I have been every year about these.
I'll see it, because I wasn't going to see this one, but then I thought about it, and I was like, it's fun to see in the theaters.
It's Halloween. Let's go see a spooky movie.
I'll never watch it again.
I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul!
Swallow this.
Go ahead and finish your thought, Ray.
Well, point is, Paranormal works once a year. So, Cutter, where can they find you?
Thecutup.net, where you can find an amazing, nice little bar with mine and Gray's social links.
All there on one site. You've been working really hard on this site.
Yeah, I've been trying to get everything up and running, make it compatible for everybody. If you have any problems out there, please let me know. I'd like to fix it so you can view it like the rest of us do.
Yeah. I have reactivated my classic feed, the old feed, so you have access to all of the classic Dark Hours episodes. That will be ending in about probably a month. I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm back, and that I've been releasing about 4 or 5 episodes in a row weekly.
Yeah, you've been kicking ass.
Which I don't know if I can keep that up forever, but I'm enjoying being back.
You gotta die someday.
Yeah. So check me out on all those social networks, you as well, and come let us know what you think about these movies and what you think about what we're saying.
Yeah, and stay tuned for our special spoiler edition of Paranormal Activity 3.
Yeah, exclusively on The Dark Hours.
Oh my god.
Hey.